Hibacha Benihana Teriyaki.
Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi, Subaru.
Karate Judo Sumo Samurai. Buddha, Shiitake Kimono. Tempura, Sushi, Sashimi. Dude, Scary Movie 4 is funny as f***. I know that the general consensus with these movies is that after the first 3, they kind of fall off, and whilst I agree, is that even a word? Whilst, W-H-I-L-S-T, whilst I agree with that statement, there is still fun to be had with this film. Like, just because the first 3 may be better doesn't mean that these suck altogether. They're really funny moments. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. You know how the Scary movies start. They always have their little mini intro, and I love it in this movie. Once again, I don't think any of the intros fail. I have to rewatch the 5th one soon, but as of right now, every intro of every Scary movie slaps. We get a parody of Saw, and we get Shaquille O'Neal, I mean Shaq, and Dr. Phil, and they're both in the situation from the original Saw, and I love this intro. You know, we get Jigsaw who sets up a trap for them, and it's this whole setup where he has to like do a basketball free throw essentially because Shaq couldn't make free throws.
Out here at Staples. Oh.
So dumb. And Dr. Phil is there just like hyping him up, and then like they finally get it through after Shaq misses like 2 or 3 times, and they get the saws, and then they're like, oh my god, they realize we gotta cut through our feet. And dude, this part, Shaq tries to like persuade Dr. Phil to go first, and the way he does it is he says like, you're not man enough, and then he gets all like insecure. But I want you to look at the face of Shaq in this exact screenshot. Dude, maybe you guys just pass over that. That shot right there might be the funniest thing for me. He's just, his smile just like, it's, oh my god, let's move on. So he ends up cutting his foot, and then Shaq gets all horrified, and he's like, what? And he's like, wrong foot. It's dumbass. Dude, this is so stupid. But I love this humor, bro. And then we get the Scary 4 intro, and then we cut to like the official start of the movie, and they're parodying War of the Worlds. And I think this is exactly why this movie still works for me. I know a lot of people discard 4 and 5, but I still like them because I like the movies they make fun of. And that's the thing. If they make fun of movies that I love, it's hard for these movies to miss. If they make fun of movies that like I've never heard of, maybe I'll be like, ah, whatever. But dude, I love War of the Worlds. I love The Grudge. I love $1 Million Baby. So it's very hard for me not to appreciate these movies because like I have so much nostalgia for those films. Like, let's just get into this scene right here. It makes fun of the opening of The Grudge, and it has Charlie Sheen, bro, the goat, man. I love Charlie. Where it cuts to Charlie Sheen going on the balcony, and he's looking all like confused or depressed, and then this sexy blonde girl comes out of the sheets, and then he looks over, and then a second one comes, which is, dude, this is so perfect that they used Charlie Sheen for this scene. And then they have third one, it's so over the top. And then Charlie Sheen looks at a photo, and he sees this like ghost boy in the background, so he decides to like cut his own wrist. But then Anna Faris shows up, and she gets all excited and hugs him, and then stabs him in the chest with it. And she does mention the boy from the previous movie, Cody, that she sent him off to military school. But I think it's pretty cool that they at least like mention or acknowledge the previous movie and that character. I thought that was cool. But then she's like, I heard you were dating again, and she's like, knowing you, she's probably brainy. And he turns around, so 3 dumb blonde girls just playing pillow fighting on the bed. It's just, oh my gosh, this is low-level humor, but I love low-level humor. I'm guilty. Even Charlie Sheen looks at a picture of his son from the previous movie, and I think he's trying to like OD on like pills and then like drinking liquor along with it, but then he realizes it's Viagra, and dude gets the biggest boner ever, which is not the funny part. For me, knowing, you know, the intro of The Grudge, he like commits suicide, jumps off the building, and then when they pan to him on the bottom, it's just ridiculous. I mean, you get the picture. And then Anna Faris is like, oh my god, and the camera moves, and she like gets back in frame. Dude, I love those parts. They do something similar in the first movie where like she's like, and the camera like hits, she's like, ow, back away. Anyways, now we cut to the other movie they're gonna parody, which is War of the Worlds, and this is Tom Cruise's character, who is like one of the crane guys for like cargo shipments, and he falls asleep on the spot and is just completely knocking over everything. And then his boss is like getting all mad at him, and this is such a stupid combo. He's like, you know what the problem is with you? As soon as the going gets tough, you give up. And he looks over, he's like, you know what? You're right. I quit. I just didn't expect him to say that. So then we cut to him at the bar, and then we get introduced once again to Kevin Hart and the other dude's character from the previous movie. I never noticed this part. He goes to that little game that you typically see at bars and stuff, and he's like a crane thing with a cargo thing, and he's like, yo, what's up? He's like, what's up? How you doing? He's like, you know, my wife left me. And he's like, yeah, I slept with her a few times. Kevin Hart's like, me too. And the bartender comes in the background, and she's like, oh, she's a great lay. And then the both of them do their little wordplay, and then he tells his friend like, yo, you need to take a break. And Kevin Hart's like, he's right, man, you should come fishing with us one weekend. And I've never seen this movie. I've heard great things about it, and it has two of my favorite actors of all time, Brokeback Mountain with Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. And like I just mentioned,
They have some of my favorite actors ever. I've heard only great things about the movie.
I have zero interest in watching this movie. I mean, comment down below if I should, but anyways, it cuts to them having a little camping trip, and dude, this is so stupid. They lay next to each other, man. He's like, hey, look, man, I'm not on the down low or anything, you know? And the dude's like, that's cool, me neither. Then he reaches over, looks like he's reaching over to his cock. He's like, I'm just trying to grab some nuts. Gosh. And then Kevin Hart does the same thing, and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just trying to get some penis. And he's like, what? Just some peanuts? That's it? And then they start singing, and when I tell you I have this song drilled in my skull, dude, I sing this song so much because of this scene.
They're like, hello, is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. I can see it in your smile.
And they're just doing the gayest shit ever, like rubbing lotion on his nipples. They're just getting knee pads on. What the f? And then you see the tent just shake uncontrollably, and the guy cuts to the guy's face. He's like, yeah, we caught a lot of fish. And the guy's like, black cod. And the dude gets out, and he's like, yo, why you gotta do that? And that's the first time I'm meeting him. And then we cut to him showing up to his place, and this is obviously making fun of War of the Worlds, and I think they do a phenomenal job. And he's talking to his ex-wife, and she's like, you've never cared about our kids. And he's like, sure I have, I'm a great dad. And he goes over and he gets the wrong kids, and they're Asian, dude. It's like so off. And I think they nail Robbie's character in this movie. Like, he tries to get in, it's locked. He's like, it's locked. And he just kicks the door down. Like, that's some shit Robbie would do if he was on steroids in the real War of the Worlds movie. And before he goes inside, he's like, you look good for being pregnant. And she's like, I'm not pregnant. So now we cut to City Home Health Services, and she's like, Mr. Koji, looks like we need someone new for the Norse account. He's like, again? They're setting up the whole grudge plot line to, you know, sync in with the War of the Worlds plot line, which is awesome. He's like, every day we don't have someone looking after this woman, I lose big money. Like, what happened to the last girl? And the girl next to him is like, Yoko, take a look. And it's the girl from the grudge that has her jaw missing. Dude, I laughed so hard at this part. He's like, holy shit, someone put a towel under her or something. That scene in The Grudge terrified me when I saw that when I was a little kid. Oh my god. So shit like this, I love. And then the lady's like, it's the Norse house, Mr. Koji. They say it's cursed. He's like, there's no such thing as a curse. Don't be ridiculous. And you see everyone using that girl's tongue for the envelopes. Anyways, Anna Faris comes in and she's like, I'm Cindy Campbell. I'm looking for a job in home health care. And they're like, oh, we got one opening for you. And then she notices the girl without a jaw. She's like, oh my god. And Mr. Koji's response is like, don't worry, she slip and fall. He's like, you ready to start right away? She's like, it's so fast. He's like, trust me. So they set her up in the Norris house, which is very reminiscent of the house in The Grudge. And she meets the old lady that she's gonna be taking care of, and she obviously is like mishandling her right off the bat. And the hair from The Grudge is popping up in the background, so he's trying to like put it all away. And she turns around and he's like wearing hair. And as she's going through the house, she takes a look out of the window and she sees this really cute guy next door. So I think this is really what makes her want to take the job. And as she gets back to examining the house, he realizes that the faucet in the bathtub turns on by itself, so he goes on to stop it. And she notices these pictures from this weird guy as the other dude's full on wrestling with the grudge boy. He's like, we offer medical 2 weeks paid vacation. And she's like, I'll take the job. As she enters the bathroom, and then he's just there in the bathtub. I was dirty. And then we cut back to the whole Tom Cruise plot line from War of the World, and then we get the classic scene where they're playing catch. And I love this scene because in the real movie, he throws it so hard that Robbie like moves out the way and it hits the window. In this one, he moves out the way and it hits Anna Faris straight in the face, and she thinks her vision is blurry because she just got knocked in the head, but it's actually just a piece of plastic on her forehead. So he takes it off and they're starting to get to know each other, and they're starting to connect a little bit. And I love at the end of this scene how the music just starts to fade in and the voice fades out, and he's just looking at her and she's doing the most random shit ever in his dumbass face. I don't know, it's stupid. So then she leaves, and then we cut to her in the shower, and then the grudge hand, obviously the classic scene, starts passing her the towel and shit and shaving her armpit. I am truly just a kid at heart. Like, I love dumb shit like this. So she goes out to investigate in the hallway, and then she runs into the grudge boy who's doing his creepy crawl down the stairs, and he just eats it. And this next part's a little bit gross when she's washing the old lady that she's taking care of, and she like accidentally puts the sponge in the piss. If you guys watch my videos, you know how I feel about toilet humor and all that nasty stuff. Not a huge fan. Anyway, she goes back inside, and this is one of my favorite jokes because this scene terrified the out of me as a little kid when the caretaker goes up into the attic with the lighter. But in this scene, when she has the lighter and she's like moving around, it goes on the top of the hand of the kid, and that's why he's screaming like, ah! So funny. Those are such genius jokes, dude. They find so many clever ways to make fun of the movies. Anyways, cut back to wannabe Tom Cruise, and he wants to play catch with his son, who obviously doesn't like him, like in the original movie. And then he throws the ball straight to Cindy Campbell's neck, and I love her line in this when she's like, "Don't worry, my throat cushioned the blow." And he's like, "What's wrong? You look scared." And she's like, "I don't know. I think I saw a face." And he's like, "Did it have a nose?" "Yeah." He's like, "That does sound like a face." So she's telling him all the crazy shit that happened last night. And she's like, "I just can't go through that again." He's like, "Oh, I get it. There's some other guy." He's like, "I wish you both the best." She's like, No. Don't misunderstand me." But then she tells him, "I was married once." And they cut to like this big black dude in the couch. And she's some girl with like a fat ass. It's like, God damn. Because then she's like, "Well, actually, I was married twice." And then they cut to the guy from the third movie who's like her boxing coach. And they're making fun of $1 Million Baby. By the way, that's a fantastic film. If you guys don't know already, the link down below for my Patreon is there. $3 a month. You can see my whole full uncut, whole commentary watch along. And we be smoking, we be drinking, we be doing good stuff. So that's down below. So she's getting ready to fight Mike Tyson, bro. Is this actually Mike Tyson, or did they like hire an actor that looks like Mike? This looks like Mike Tyson. He's like, "Cindy, listen to me. I believe you can do this. You can win." So they start fighting, and obviously Mike Tyson beats the shit out of her, and then bites the ear off the referee. So she loses, and then she loses her composure and tries to hit her. Mike Tyson's like, "Oh, a nickel!" Bends over to get it. She swings over, and they put like the stool recreating the scene from $1 Million Baby. But instead of her being the one that lands and cracks her neck, literally everyone else in the stadium. And you see there's this pile of ears because Mike Tyson's just biting everyone's ear off. Dude, this scene is just nuts. And that's how her husband died. And she's like, "I blame myself for everything." And the other dude's like, "As you should." But he's like, "But Cindy, the past is the past. You gotta think about your future." Anyways, they end up kissing at the end of this conversation, and then the initial alien invasion begins from War of the Worlds. And this is ridiculous. But the cloud is shaped in like a butt cheeks, plural. The lightning strike comes straight out the ball. It's just, what the man. But anyways, they go inside to hide, and then his daughter's still out there. She gets hit by lightning. He's like, lightning never hits the same spot twice, because this is what Tom Cruise says. And she gets hit again, even worse. There's a stupid fart joke. Like I said, I don't like toilet humor. But then he goes out to investigate, trying to find Robbie. He meets the guy who's fixing the car, and he gives him an advice, just like in the original movie. And he finally gets to the side of the crack on the street. And then I love this part, because instead of like the tripod coming out of the ground, it's a iPod. It starts singing Kama 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 Chameleon. And then they switch the song to Destroy Humanity. And then it turns into a tripod. And yo, obviously the CGI is so bad, but the tripods start incinerating everyone. And I love this because one of the most iconic scenes in War of the Worlds is like those laser beams going across, and then just like everyone just poofs into dust, and then their clothes like fall down. But in this movie, some girl's just like running, and she's like, "Beautiful outfit." And she's like, "Thanks," and then pushes her into the beam so she can get the outfit. Dude, I laughed so hard at that part. I love. And then get the people from the hood, and then all the bling falls down. Oh my god, this next part. Oh my god, I wish I had shots to take for this next part. The conversation between Anna Faris and the Grudge Boy on the stairwell. Oh my god, it's so good, dude. It's so hilarious. She's like, "Hello," and then like, "Hello, Hibachi Benihana Teriyaki, Nagasaki, Okinawa, Hokkaido, Yokohama, Karate Judo Sumo Samurai, Nissan, Honda, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Harakiri Tsunami, Kamikaze Banzai, Yamaha, Nikon, Kaiso, Aiwa, Seiko, Toshiba, Burashitaki Kimono." And he's like, "Tempura, sushi, sashimi," and fades away. I need you guys right now to understand how dumb I am. I've seen this movie at least twice before. I saw it with my best friend Eric in college, and for the life of me, I always just read the subtitles that the movie gave me, and I just assumed that it was Japanese. I never put two and two together until I saw it with my best friend Eric, and he's like, Enzo, listen to what they're saying."
Honda, Nissan, Hibachi, Teriyaki, Banzai.
I'm just like, what the fuck? I never caught on to that. I am that guy. I am the dumb one. I just can't believe I never caught that. My brain did not. And then these blood stains appear on the wall in like Japanese. She's like, I can't read that. So then the blood rearranges itself so it can I love that detail. So we cut back to 99-cent store Tom Cruise, who has a bunch of dust and he's like wiping it all off. And then Robbie's like, Dad, talk to me. And he's like, there's no time to explain. Some comes by and he's like, it's an alien invasion. He's like, well, that about sums it up. And before he leaves, he runs into Cindy. He's like, you gotta come with me. And then she's like, there's someone that I know that could stop all this. She's like, oh, he won't understand. He's like, I understand. And she's like, come with me. He's like, I like to, but you know, my kids, I gotta. But she's like, promise me when this is all over, you will find me. And he's like, alive? She's like, yes. And he's like, okay, I promise. So then they kiss and they split up. And then he's like, hey, wait, a solenoid for luck, and tosses it to her. It's so funny how that comes in later in the movie. Just wait. Then 99-cent store Tom Cruise takes his kid to that car, puts him in there, and then he's about to steal the car. And the mechanic's like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, get in the car. There's an alien invasion. Get in, or else you're gonna die. And he's like, all right, chill. I'll get in. But they do this whole joke where like he presses the lock at the same time as he's opening the door. And then he gets pissed off. He's like, I'd rather be dead. And then obviously gets incinerated. And then we cut to Leslie Nielsen. He's at some kindergarten where they're reading a book. And then like one of his security guys comes up to him and he's like, yo, the planet is under attack by aliens. He's like, don't worry, we'll get to it. I need to finish this book. He's like, sir, if nothing is done, they're gonna kill us all. He's like, I see, but we'll handle that in a minute. I gotta see what's happening to this duck. And he's like, sir, I've read the story. The duck dies. And then he spits out the like, that. God damn, that's horrible. And he's like, Mr. President, we're under attack. He's like, you mean these children's parents could be dead right now? And everyone's like, what the f? He's like, whoa, it's not as bad as it seems. I'm sure they died with all the people they love. He's like, even Santa Claus? He's like, no. Santa Claus ain't real. Tooth fairy bullshit. He's like, the female orgasm never existed. See, this is what I love about these movies. Like, sometimes there's like the low-hanging jokes that you're like, all right, whatever. But then there's the low-hanging jokes, and at the end of them, they catch you completely off guard with something actually funny. And as he's leaving the room, he's like, I just don't get kids. And he's like, remind me to sign that abortion bill. Anyways, we cut to Cindy, who shows up to like that huge airplane crash site. But Brenda comes back in this movie, and I love that because she dies in the third one, but I love that they bring her back because Brenda is essential. And then she shows her on a TV all the aliens like attacking all the big cities in the world, and she's like, humanity has lost the war. And she's like, no, there's still hope. I have reason to believe that there's someone here that knows the answers, maybe even a way to fight back. And then she's like, come on, it'll make a good story. And she's like, yeah, but how are we supposed to get there? And she pulls out the solenoid as if they're gonna fix a car, you know, that's what it's for. And some motherfucker pulls up in his car just like, hey bitches, I got the last working car in New York. And Brenda throws the solenoid at him and knocks him out. And that's the use of the solenoid in this movie. Then we cut to Kevin Hart and his partner, and they come out of the sewer and they're like, what the hell happened to everyone? And then they see all the zombies, and one of the dudes runs into his grandma and starts beating the shit out of her, throws her down the sewers like, that woman raised me from birth. Then we cut to 99-cent store Tom Cruise, who's going through the crowd with the car, and then they start like getting all hostile towards him. Then he gets out of the car, shoots the gun. You know the whole deal if you've seen the movie, but I love that when he shoots the gun in the air, some guy in a paraglider just falls down in the background, just like, what the f? Now we cut back to the president and the security guard, and then some guy comes up like, sir, this woman was an eyewitness to one of those attacks. He's like, what can you tell us? And she's like, they're indestructible. Everyone was naked running around. And Leslie Nielsen's like, were you naked? And she's like, oh gosh, no. And then he's like, thank God, good news at last. Then we cut back to Cindy and Brenda in the car, and Brenda's asleep, and she's just like voicing things in her head. It's like, Russell Crowe's got a phone? R. Kelly, don't pee on me. And then she wakes up, and then they start talking and then there's like this jump scare in the movie where you see the little boy in the window, and they finally get out of the car. And listen to me when I tell you this, because The Village is one of my favorite M. Night Shyamalan. I know a lot of people hate that movie, which I don't understand why, because I love that movie. So this next part, awesome. They need to like blend into these people that are in the middle of nowhere, which is like an old style village. So like, let's pull these women in the bush and beat the out of them and take their clothes. And I love when they do that. Like, you see the bushes shaking, so someone's getting their ass beat. But then the two original Pilgrim girls get out. They beat the out of them, which I don't buy. Ain't nobody putting hands on Brenda, dude. You see Brenda's skills against Samara in the third movie? Brenda's got hands. But then they find some clothes nearby that are just being washed, so they take that. And bro, Carmen Electra's in this movie. I would have never expected her to be again in the Scary Movie franchise. But she's like a blind girl, and the other dude, her brother, is the same guy from Scary Movie 2. And she's like, Ezekiel, where are you? Shall we have a foot race? So they start racing, and she runs into a and then he runs into the wall. It's so funny. Anyways, they're having this like big gathering or big dinner. He's like, now who would like to say grace? And then Ezekiel's like, I want to do it. So they're like, all right, go. And he's like, pee-pee, vagina, pee-pee, vagina. Anyways, 2 guys in yellow coats come to take away Brenda and Cindy. But she tells him the guards caught 2 outsiders near the cabin. He's like, oh, fuck. So he goes to question them and he's like, I must speak with you. She's like, I was sent by your son. He's like, don't be ridiculous. I have no son. She's like, that's not true. I know who you are. I've seen the pictures. He's like, I was young. I needed work. She's like, no, not that. And she's like, I miss Norris's house. He's like, I didn't know whose house it was. They drugged me. But then he's like, never mind that. You guys are outsiders. The council will decide your fate. So they're having this big hearing about the outsiders. And dude, this guy is from White Chicks. It's the same guy from White Chicks. Am I crazy? I know it's him. And Brenda starts flirting with him. And it's so funny. And he's like, we should welcome the outsiders among us. And they're all talking in some Shakespearean kind of way. Because he's like, Jeremiah, ought not your tongue be held? He's like, yes. But sometimes my tongue wiggles beyond the ability to control it. And then Brenda stands up. She's like, this is a problem with which I've had much experience. Maybe I could help him in a room in which there are no others. Anyways, at the end, Carmen Electra comes in and she's like in a super sexy lingerie and goes to the toilet. But obviously, it's not the toilet. It's the public hearing place. Anyways, their final decision is that they're now part of their village. But then he's like, understand this. You may never leave. And they're like, what the f? No! He's like, how did your son die? The whole world is at stake. And as they're leaving, they're like, was it you? Did you kill him? Now we cut to the United Nations where they're waiting for the American president to step up and say something. So he goes up there and then he just does the most insulting joke ever. And at the end of all of it, he's like, but on a serious note, today at the United Nations, because the earth has been attacked, I'm happy to report that we may have found a way to fight back. And they show this insane weapon, which is supposed to emulate what the aliens do, which is like, burn the clothes off. And he accidentally burns his clothes off and he's all naked in front of everyone. And one of the lines he says is, I believe that deep down inside this heat cannon is our best chance. He's like, let me give you a demonstration, and just bends over. And then the thing takes everyone's clothes off. And then the president's like, why you guys have no clothes? Have you no shame? And we cut back to 99-cent store Tom Cruise, and he's supposedly carrying his daughter and the brother's right next door. And then he's like, I don't know how much longer I can carry your sister. And the girl comes from behind. He's like, you're not carrying me. And she's like, who the is this? And I swear this dude is one of the guys from Scary Movie 3. I swear he's in the White House scene. I swear. And then we get the classic scene from War of the Worlds where the aliens are fighting the military and Robbie wants to go with the military. And I love how they portray Robbie here. He's like, yeah, that's so cool. Awesome. He's like, they'll pay for half my college. Kick ass. And in the original movie, Tom Cruise girl's like hiding by the tree and then some like people are trying to take her. And in this movie, it's Michael Jackson. I totally forgot that Michael Jackson was in this. They make fun of him in this movie. The last person on earth you want to take your child. And then they find refuge in the random person's house who's waving the shotgun. And then we cut back to Anna Faris, who's in the movie world of The Village. And then the monsters from The Village finally appear. So they're all ringing the bells and running, and they all go hiding into the cellar. So one of them sneezes, so they get out of hiding, and then they're like, boogity 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 boogity. And they're like, you're not monsters. And they pull off the mask like it's Scooby-Doo. But then they do hear a woman screaming, so they go to another house, and Henry's been stabbed.
So like, you need a hospital or like medicine or something from the real world, from the outside world. And they're like, we sent our most qualified
villager for medicine, and it's the blind girl. And she's just running in circles, obviously. He goes like, I'm so dead. But before he dies, she asks him like, was it you that killed the boy? He's like, no, I loved him and his mother very much. I should have been with him when he died. It was horrible. She's like, what happened? He's like, they went to a boxing match and there was a terrible accident. She's like, oh, god damn it. She's like, all this time I've been searching for his killer, and it was me, Brenda. It was all my fault. Then she's like, Henry, your son told me that if I found his killer, I would know how to defeat the aliens. And he's like, he was right. Don't you see? All you have to do is, and then he gets stabbed by the other brother. And then we cut back to 99-cent store Tom Cruise, who's gonna have this heartfelt moment with his daughter. He's like, I've never lost anyone. Well, you just lost Robbie, so that's one. And he's like, except Robbie. And then she's like, can you please sing me a song? And he doesn't know the song that she wants him to sing. And then he starts singing the most ratchet ass song ever.
He's like, if you want this money, then you gotta be a bad bitch. Shake that ass for a tip if you had a bad bitch. Drop down for the floor if you had a bad bitch. Oh no, she ain't no hoe. She a bad bitch.
So stupid. stupid. And then the long alien anaconda tube comes down with the camera, you know, the whole thing. And it finds a vacuum and starts humping that's so stupid. And then they hide behind a mirror and the guy's about to like axe it down and he's like signing him like, no, don't do it. And then he tries to write it down on a piece of paper, but he realizes he hasn't wrote anything because he didn't click on the pen. But his daughter gets taken, so he goes after her and then he gets taken by the alien. And then we come back to Anna Faris and Brenda. And she's like, what's the secret, Brenda? What am I missing? And Brenda looks around because they're still ringing the bell. She's like, really? More fake monsters? And it's the tripods. This time it is a real monster and they snatch up Brenda and Cindy and they're all caught up in this alien thing. And then Anna Faris and 99 Cent Store Tom Cruise finally reunite. They kiss and then he realized he was kissing some grandma that slaps him in the face and she's like, what are the aliens gonna do to us? And then they look over and he's like, I don't know, but they're taking everyone, young, old, rich, poor, chingy. And then you see a VIP section with some girls and music, bro. So retarded. Then they all get snatched up through the butt cheeks of the alien spaceship. And the final sequence is a Saw sequence. And the camera pans over to Shaq's remains. Brenda's like, look, the aliens killed the dinosaur because his limbs are so big. And then Jigsaw appears on the TV and he's like, the devices you wear will trigger in 60 seconds. She's like, the switch on the wall behind Cindy will disable them. And Brenda's like, but where's the key? And then Jigsaw's like, I'll give you a hint. And it's behind Cindy's eyes. So she gets like a knife and she's like, you want me to cut something? And he's like, and then she's gonna cut herself. He's like, no, not that. And then she's gonna cut Brenda. He's like, God damn it, is this bitch dumb? He's like, the key behind your eye. And she's like, oh, so she's gonna go cut his eye. He calls over another Jigsaw guy like, yo, this bitch about to do it. But she's like, fake eye, bar fight in 96. They're like, what the So she unlocks all the devices and they're all free. And she puts on her eye back all twisted and it looks weird as And then she's like, I hope this doesn't come between us. And he's like, oh, no, it doesn't. And then just moves the eyeball. And then we cut to Brenda who's like, is it too late for me to try this on the crossbow machine? But the game's not over yet because then they show Robbie and his daughter and they're about to be dropped in these like metal spikes that are rotating. So he holds onto the chain and then like this, everything just gets wild. And I don't understand this part because she gets a memory of the kid who's like, the answer is within my father's heart, which I don't think he said. And then she sees like a heart shape on the bathroom and it's like, did that guy own this bathroom? Like what the And she goes down the toilet to find a bunch of pictures of Jigsaw with the family. And then she's like, you're the little boy's real father. Now it makes sense. He's in bed with the Asian girl. And Brenda's like, when the did you even meet her? And he's like, it was spring break in Cabo, okay? And they show him in Cabo. And she's like, please stop. Your son wouldn't want this. It's all my fault. Let the others go. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And then Brenda shows up on the TV. She's like, hey, Cindy, look, I'm on TV, y'all. And then Jigsaw slaps her. So then she just, you don't ever slap Brenda. She's gonna you up. And that's exactly what she does. And she both of them up. And he's like, plus I already built this shit, so we're gonna use it. So they start to like lower everyone. He's like, you got 60 seconds. And he's like, I won't quit on you. And they all have this like heartfelt moment. And then the spikes obviously stop. And then Jigsaw comes, you know, with his little tri-screen. He's like, are you sparing our lives? He's like, anyone can hold a grudge, but it takes real courage to forgive. I mean, some bullshit line. And he's like, the invasion is over. And I guess I'm sorry for something. She's like you mean it. Like he's a toddler, dude. Like, okay, I'm sorry for killing millions of people, whatever. And she's like, wait, where's Brenda? And Brenda comes out with the other Jigsaw and she's like, we're at peace now, I was just sealing the deal. And he goes over to the one. He's like, tell me you didn't catch something. And he's like, nah, it's cool, she says she was a virgin. And he's like, we're so fucked. So the invasion is over. All the tripods are falling down. The kids reunite with the mom. Anna Faris ends up with 99 Cent Store Tom Cruise. Brenda has a Jigsaw child with the guy from White Chicks, and even Kevin Hart and his bro are happy in the mountains. So you know what? Everyone is a happy ending. I had a good time with this movie. Even Leslie Nielsen with his duck, bro. Like everyone's happy. And bro, they do the ending of War of the Worlds and they get James Earl Jones, another it surprises how many legends they're able to like accumulate in these movies. Like, god damn.
Lion King and Darth Vader? Mufasa?
Anyways, we cut to one last scene, and unless you're a huge Tom Cruise fan and unless you've seen this interview on YouTube or when it came out live, you won't appreciate this joke, but it is such a funny joke because if you've seen the interview, Tom Cruise is just way too excited, way too animated in the Oprah show, and this scene does a perfect job of displaying that. It's so hilarious. I think the only thing that does it better than this, I think I've seen a YouTube video where like they have him with like, you know, Darth Sidious or what's his name? And Star Wars with the lightning bolt. It's so funny. But all in all, guys, Scary Movie 4 is a good time. It's definitely not as good as the first three, but god damn it, I have a good time with this movie. I rewatch it. I think it's good. People hate on it way too much. They're not bad. They're still worthy of watching. They're still, if you're gonna do a marathon, you still put on 4 and 5. They're still fun to watch. So I defend this movie. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Subscribe, give this video a like, yada yada yada, you know the deal, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.